Welcome to the Quality Improvement Training Series. This training series is designed to increase the capacity within the Virginia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services to use quality improvement tools and strategies. This is Setting the Stage for Success, Part 1, Using a Team-Based Approach. My name is Mary Beth Cox. I am the Quality Improvement Coordinator in the Office of Clinical Quality Management at DBHDS. I will be your presenter for this training series. The goal of this presentation is to help you better understand strategies that can set the stage for a successful quality improvement initiative. This is the first video of a two-part series. In part 1, we will review the focus framework and using a team-based approach. In the second video, we will review holding effective meetings, using leadership skills, being prepared for common challenges, and celebrating success. These are the resources that will be referenced in this presentation. Many are derived from item number 8, the Public Health Foundation's Quality Improvement Quick Guide, which is a self-paced orientation to quality improvement. If you enjoy the information in this video, I encourage you to complete that quick guide as well. DBHDS has adopted the model for improvement for conducting quality improvement initiatives. Let's review the model. It starts with the 3 questions. Question 1, what are we trying to accomplish? You answer this by defining your aim statement. The second question is, how will we know that a change is an improvement? You answer this by defining your measure. Finally, question 3, what changes can we make that will result in an improvement? You answer this by identifying changes. Then you enter into the Plan, Do, Study, Act, or PDSA cycle to test the changes you've identified to determine if they are helping you achieve your aim. Now let's introduce the focus framework. The focus framework is a very helpful framework to support using the model for improvement. Focus is an acronym, and we will go through what each letter means. It starts with F for find an opportunity to improve. This is really talking about using the data and information you have to identify the issue or process you want to improve. It helps you develop your aim. Then you O, organize a team that understands the process. This is what we will be focusing on today. After O, you clarify the current knowledge of the issue or process. In this stage, you are gathering the who, what, when, why, and where to understand your starting point. Then you understand the cause of the problem or process variation. You're asking why. This is where you would conduct your root cause analysis. Finally, you S, select the aspect of the problem or piece of the process you want to improve. The O, C, U, and S can really help you improve your aim as you work through the model for improvement. In this presentation, we will be reviewing how to use a team-based approach to quality improvement initiatives. We are going to talk about why to use a team-based approach, some considerations for your team, how to select team members and a team facilitator, do you need subject matter experts, how to include the voice of people most affected by your work, training team members in quality improvement tools and techniques, and reviewing your team processes. Why should we use a team-based approach to quality improvement? A team brings a variety of perspectives, knowledge, opinions, and skills. Quality improvement is a team sport. According to the article, the ABCs of PDCA, which is Plan, Do, Check, Act, also Plan, Do, Study, Act, PDCA or PDSA involves a team approach to problem solving. I also like this quote from Linderman and colleagues. The success of any quality improvement project will come down to the quality of the team members working on it. Do you have an experience of working on a QI project or any project where there was not a team or the team was ineffective? How did that impact the problem that was identified? Having an ineffective team can have many detrimental results, such as not being organized, being unable to make decisions, and not moving forward. Conversely, how does an effective team impact the problem that's identified? An effective team could communicate well, be able to make decisions, be organized, and efficient. This adds a lot of value to a quality improvement project. Think about what are the implications of not having a team. Challenges could include not fully understanding the problem or having too narrow of a perspective when identifying solutions, not getting buy-in from other staff, or lacking time to implement and study the change. If you have a single quality improvement staff person, consider how you can build a team to help support the quality improvement effort. Now let's talk about some things you may want to think through or consider when developing your team or starting your project. Thinking through these at the beginning will help you, the sponsor, and the team members have a common understanding of the project's direction and expectations. Let's go through the list. Your team name and the date it was established, your problem or opportunity statement, which could be thought of as your statement of purpose, who is the team sponsor or the leader or group that supports or initiated the effort, who is your team leader or facilitator, who are your team members and their areas of expertise, what is your aim or mission, what is the scope of your project. Think about the boundaries and the scope of authority. Who are your customers and what customer needs are you addressing with this project? What are your objectives using the SMART criteria? What other considerations are important, like assumptions, constraints, obstacles, and risks? What are available resources that you have and what additional resources may you need? What are some key milestones and the dates of those? What is your communication plan? Who needs to know information? How do they need to know it and when? And finally, who are your key stakeholders and what are their areas of concern related to this charter or your project? Some teams decide to put these items in a more formal document called a charter. Whether you need a formal charter or not, you probably want to write down the responses to these items, or at least the ones that are important to you and your team, and keep them for reference throughout the project. Now let's talk about selecting team members and a team facilitator. First, let's think about what are qualifications of a good team facilitator. You might come up with some of the items listed on this slide, such as having strong problem-solving skills, being a good listener and open-minded, someone who lets the team talk and have discussions, who can build partnerships and collaborations, is strengths-based, is open to having a co-leader, is approachable, drives decision-making, and also keeps the project on track. Let's also talk about what are some benefits and drawbacks of leaders who are in more formal positions of power being the team facilitator. Some benefits of this are that the person would be knowledgeable, could influence change, is well respected, and can provide resources. Some drawbacks may be that the person may have limited availability or that other team members, depending on where they are in the organization, and their position, and the dynamics, may be hesitant to point out weaknesses of the system. And pointing out weaknesses of the system is necessary if you're going to improve the system. So those are some considerations to keep in mind when you may be considering somebody in a formal position of power also being the team facilitator for a quality improvement project. Now we're going to talk about what qualifications you should look for in QI team members on the next slide. So let's talk about some characteristics that you may want to consider when selecting your team members for your quality improvement project. This is a list of characteristics from the article Selecting Quality Improvement Team Members by Linderman and colleagues. You can get a copy of this list by clicking on or typing in the link that is on the slide. You can see that they've grouped them into categories such as knowledge of the problem, being an effective team player, reliability, etc. So it gives you a great list of things to think about when you are selecting your team members. Now let's think about whether you need subject matter experts, or SMEs. Who is an SME, or why would you need one? An SME is someone with more in-depth knowledge or a skill set on a subject matter that your team may be lacking or that your team needs in order to conduct your improvement project. This could be somebody working on an aspect of the problem at hand every day. Some ideas for SMEs include frontline workers who have that firsthand experience on a regular basis, or somebody like a researcher who has special knowledge due to studying the issue closely. When would you need your SME? Would you need them available from the beginning? If possible, it is best to identify the need for an SME and who will fill that role from the beginning of your project. This could help you set sail in the right direction. If you bring an SME in after you've already identified your aim or started testing your change, they may have some knowledge that you should have considered from the beginning. It could possibly throw you off course. If they come in later, you will need to orient them to the project, explain what the background is, and what has been done so far. To engage your SME, first, you need to identify who you want to invite. Consider looking internal to your organization first, and then you could look to your network, such as advocacy groups and professional associations. After they accept your invitation, provide an orientation and clear expectations of their role. Try to plan your meetings and any events to ensure that they can attend. Be sure to be mindful of issues like compensation and showing appreciation. Let's take a moment to do a quick activity. Let's think about what SME might you need if your quality improvement topic is to reduce the incidence of urinary tract infections. You might want an SME who is an individual with a history of UTIs. They could share their experience of having UTIs and what has worked or not worked to help them. You could have a service provider who supports individuals who are at risk for UTIs. They could share their knowledge and experience supporting those individuals. You could also invite the advice of a healthcare provider with expertise in UTIs or a researcher who has studied UTIs. Either one or both could provide additional knowledge and experience of best practices in preventing and managing UTIs. Or you could consider an expert who has conducted a quality improvement project on UTIs, just like you're trying to do. This person could provide knowledge and experience, probably advice and consultation on what works in a quality improvement project to identify and test improvement efforts. Now let's talk about how do you include the voice of the people most affected by the work. First, you will need to spend some time identifying who are the people affected by your improvement initiative work. Once you've identified who they are, you need to understand why you need their voice at the table. Often, improvement projects are focused on improving something for the good of the individuals who are receiving services from your organization, or improving processes, tools, or resources for certain staff roles or offices within the agency. It is important to remember the phrase, "nothing about me without me." It is critical to bring in the voice of people who are most affected and impacted by the work. How can you include their voice, perspectives, experiences, and opinions? Some ideas about how to do this are to invite them to the team if they cannot be part of the team, or if you need more opinions than that of a single person. Some good ideas about how to include their opinions would be doing key informant interviews, focus groups, a survey, and getting input from a consumer or advocacy group. What are the implications for not doing this? If you don't get the voice of the people most affected by the work, your work will likely not be relevant for the people most affected. Now let's talk about, do team members need to be trained in quality improvement tools and techniques? Some of your team members may be new to doing quality improvement work. What do they need to know? Some things they need to know are basic parts of the model for improvement, what a plan, do, study, act cycle is, the aim, the measure, and the change for your quality improvement project, information about their role and how they can contribute. You can provide that information during one of your team meetings. You could do an overview as part of their member orientation. DBHDS also has a list of resources that you can use, and it is listed on the next slide. The DBHDS Office of Clinical Quality Management has developed a collection of guides, toolkits, and training resources to help build quality improvement knowledge and skills. Please click on or type in the link that is on this slide to access that list of resources, and we hope you find it helpful. Finally, let's discuss how you review your team processes. Do you have the essential items for a successful quality improvement team? How do you know? On the right-hand side of the slide, you will see a team process review checklist. This checklist contains 24 items that you can respond to using a yes, no, or not applicable. It includes things like team charter developed, team sponsor reviewed charter with team members selected, and so forth. It is a good checklist to use at the beginning of your project and throughout to make sure that you are staying on top of planning your team and the team processes. You can get this checklist by visiting the link that is on the left hand of this slide, and you are able to download and use it when you need to. Let's review what we have learned during this presentation. We have talked about using a team-based approach and why it is important for your quality improvement initiative. We've talked about some considerations you need to think about for your team, selecting team members and a team facilitator, considering when and how you may integrate subject matter experts, how you include the voice of the people most affected by the work, training your team members in quality improvement tools and techniques, and reviewing your team processes. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope you also continue to the second part of this short series, Setting the Stage for Success, where we cover meetings, leadership, and more. Thank you for watching.